His thoughts had literally immobilized him. And of course his family was very concerned and wanted to try to help him to figure out what they could do to get Ed out of the basement so he could live his life. And they tried several different things. It didn't work. He didn't want help. And they actually contacted a doctor by the name of Dr. Michael Janicki, who is the OCD specialist, the best specialist in the United States. And Dr. Janicki was so committed that he was willing to come make a house call to Ed, because obviously there was no way that Ed was going to be able to make it into the office or the hospital. So for over 18 months, Ed Janicki sat outside the basement door, was able to coax Ed out of the basement. He tried medication, he tried behavioral therapy, and there was some progress made. Ed actually took a shower and came upstairs a couple of times, but only to regress back into what his mind was telling him, the comfort of his stench-filled basement. And Dr. Janicki tried everything he knew and got to the point that he was so disheartened that at one point he sat down next to Ed and looked at him, and he broke down and cried. Now, of course, doctors are not supposed to do that. But he cried because of the hopelessness of the situation. He couldn't figure out anything else he was going to be able to do to help Ed Zine get better. And later, Ed Zine said about that moment when Dr. Janicki cried that Ed was so filled with empathy and compassion that he had a thought. He thought that he would try to get better on his own in order to honor the work that Dr. Janicki had done. And so Dr. Janicki left and actually didn't come back for over a year. And in that time, with this thought, Ed began to make some progress. Over several months, he began to actually start to shower on a regular basis. He was able to get outside of the basement, to get outside of his father's house. He actually was able to find a job and actually start to drive a car again. And he did all of this with the thought that he could manage his OCD. And so he was, of course, delighted and proud of that moment when he could show Dr. Janicki that he was so much better. And he had honored Dr. Janicki by getting better, in spite of all the things that had happened in the past. And today, Ed is married, and he has 2 children, and he just built a house for he and his family. And Ed doesn't say that he's cured, but he says that he manages his OCD on a daily basis. Life is a process, not a goal. And Ed did that with a thought. He didn't have any money. He didn't have any advice. He didn't have any opportunities. He decided that he was ready to change. And so really, each of us, not just today, but every moment in our life, we have an opportunity to decide how we're going to live our lives. And I would offer up the most important thing to remember is that it's usually easy to think about how we want to live our life first thing in the morning or last thing at night. But it's all those moments in the middle that get us in trouble. And I remember an acronym that I learned a while ago that has been very helpful, and it's HALT. Has everybody heard of this? HALT. It stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. When we are hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, those are the moments when we are most likely to have our mind start to justify why we need to fall back in the comfort of our old ways of living. When you're hungry, you start to tell yourself, no, I really am hungry. I know I just had dinner, things that I told myself this morning that I really, really, really didn't want to do, but your mind is telling you something different. Oh, I've earned it, or I deserve it, or it doesn't really matter anyway, oh, who cares? All of those things aren't true. You have everything you need in every moment to make a different decision. We all have the choice to live the most wonderful, peaceful life we can possibly imagine. And there was this woman named Myrtle Fillmore. And over 100 years ago, she had a thought. And her thought was that I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit illness. And that one thought led to the creation of the Unity Movement, created Unity Village, and created this church. And in that one thought is the reason why we are all sitting here today. So what is that one thought for you? Let's take that thought into meditation.